Here we go.
Awesome. Thank you, Rock Camp Bassist, for joining us tonight. This is our fourth week of music lessons, and we had Kya Karine teach us some pretty awesome riffs and some iconic bass lines this week. Kaya, thank you so much for lending us your experience and your knowledge, your musicality. I don't know if people know, but Kaya plays in a billion bands, right? And you play every kind of, pretty much every genre under the sun. Kaya can play music, play bass to it. She plays a lot of jazz music on a stand-up bass, plays electric bass. One of my favorite projects you do is your Amy Winehouse tribute, where you put together a giant band to recreate Amy Winehouse's music, and it's incredible. So thank you for being a part of Rock Camp. And yeah, we just kind of want to start with the lesson, what you talked about. And if anybody has a question, June, if you have any questions from the lesson or anything you want to tell Kaya about the lesson.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved the riff you taught, and the chain's a fantastic song, so thank you. And depending on how the lesson goes tonight, I'd love to talk more about just like how to build a riff into a bass line. I'm pretty solid on just playing like quarter notes, eighth notes. Sometimes I can even convince my fingers to play 16th notes on the bass consistently and not just for like one measure, but really just adding some riffs in so that it just sounds more interesting, I guess, is kind of what my goal is with this
Yeah,
song that we're writing. So
that's so great to hear. I'm excited to hear what you're working on.
it's sorry,
Uh,
Hillary's asking. It's on the table in the living room.
yeah, I just want to say I'm here for all of you guys. So, my knowledge is all over the place. So I want to make sure that I can give you guys, what everyone's looking for. So, yeah, that's a really great question. How to start that transition from just having like the eighth note thing into then, making it an actual line, making it something creative.
Yeah.
And I guess my advice for that would to just be sit on it for a minute. Like if you have is are you thinking of a specific song that you're working on that you're stuck
So
on?
yeah, we've got our song that we're writing for camp. So we this last practice kind of nailed down some chords we want to toy around with, and so we have like the chords, and I have those kind of whole steps between the chord changes, but like
What are the
figuring
chords?
out. So D, B, they're playing B flat, F and C.
Do you want to play me like a little something?
I'm not plugged into
Sorry
an
to put
amp.
you on the spot.
I'm not plugged into an amp and we knew this would happen and we still did this anyway. So sorry, that's my bad. But I'm not plugged into an amp, so I can play it, but you're not gonna hear it.
That's okay. I just want to kind of get a feel for it.
Okay, so and then I never remember where B is.
It's in the Rock Camp song.
Well, that doesn't help my brain.
E7.
I'm on the E string. Which fret is
E7.
E7? Thank you. So
Yeah.
E7, I like that.
E D E B F C
Couldn't find the paper.
E8. It's right there. 6. Sorry, Kaya.
No, don't be sorry. So I guess something you can start by trying to do is add some like passing tones in between, like add
Those are our notes.
oh, I like it. That's a good progression. Yeah, so like are you typically playing like eighth notes? Do you know what
Yeah.
you're doing yet? You're just kind of figuring it out.
My eighth notes is what we've been practicing with right now.
It sounds like it's kind of an open playground, honestly, like to where you can, start with just the eighth note stuff until you have the rate of the harmonic movement, and then you can just play with it. I mean, you can add like a passing tone. Oh, I'd just love to hear it with what you guys are working on. But I'm trying to think the best
But
advice.
You could play the video. We could play the
Yeah,
audio.
Share it. We recorded.
We recorded it so that we just kind of had something to work with in terms of.
The thing about being a bass player is that it really is like the most giving position of the band. Like you're the most giving. Your whole job is to make everybody else sound better, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you're the support role.
Okay.
So a lot of what you're going to play is going to be dependent on what drums are doing. or if there's like a soloist going
It's gonna take
on.
me a minute to find this.
So a lot of it really is dependent on what else is happening with you.
Yeah, and I think that part of, I mean, we're still early on in the songwriting, so we haven't necessarily figured out all of the pieces. But how do you, I guess, so I don't have like a music theory background. So when I'm looking at these notes, and you were talking about this in the chain, like they built that riff off of the same notes that they were using for the chorus, and they just kind of dropped one in, and I saw how you're doing that. So is that kind of how riffs form, or how do you figure out what other chords you can play like in between the stuff you're playing?
Yeah, so the theory stuff, it's kind of funny. It can hold you back, but it can also be like the tool you need sometimes to fill in the gaps. Um, I would say like be working on the theory stuff as you go. Like don't beat yourself up for not knowing it, and feeling like you need it in order to make the music. Because trust your ear. Like if you hear an idea, just reach for it with your fingers. Like a great exercise for me is like just making up a melody or making up an idea and trying to figure out how to play it.
Okay.
That would really be a great thing for everybody, what like the bass players I think to do is if writing a song, like if you hear a bass line, because that's what it all comes down to is supporting everybody else and finding a way to express your voice still.
Yeah. Okay, Hillary queued this up. I want to play this for you, and then Talia and y'all, you can hear our lyrics, our chorus at least.
Yes.
If this will work.
Kat's doing our vocals, so enjoy. You're muted on the end, I think.
Here, I'll go back again.
This is like our second time playing it.
We're at the bottom of the top, but we like it here. At the beginning of the end, since we're in the clear. We're surfing with the force of gold. What more would if we're not gonna hear? The second time, just about it.
So that gives you an idea of what we're working on.
Yeah, I love it. It's got a great groove. That's actually a great bass player song. I can hear it now. You're giving it what it needs already. All you have to do now is just add in some flavor notes, add in some it sounded like from the recording that you were hitting the roots, kind of locking with the drums, which is how it should be. So from there, just add like if you listen to the drums, hit another note on the other drum hit. It really comes down to the drums and listening to what other people are doing. I know it sounds like I'm repeating myself a million times, but
Okay. That
No,
makes
I think
sense.
it's great. Like using your ear is so important because you know what sounds good. You know what makes you dance, and so you kind of listen to that. And I could groove to that, just like Kaya said that. I think you already have a great groove. And I also noticed you're doing some hammer-ons, whether you're meaning to or not.
I
It's
don't know
you
what a
already are
hammer-on is.
adding some flavor. I don't know what are hammer-ons is where you might just pluck the note and put your root down right after you pluck it, so it kind of has a dun dun like a quick change.
Oh.
You were naturally doing it, June.
I don't think I knew I was doing that. So
Yeah, it was
okay.
good. Kaya, do you have any do you have any of those flavor notes? Maybe you could show June on the right now. I don't know.
honestly, I love what you just said about doing hammer-ons because that's something. Don't feel like you have to play a million notes or like do some crazy fill or something. Like just doing like a really subtle hammer-on or like just adding like I don't know how to explain it. Like the way you play a note is very personal to you. So even if the chord is so simple, the way you're playing it, if your personality and you're being true to who you are, it's gonna come through in the music. So as far as developing that part, so the chord progression was D to B flat, right?
Yep.
F to C.
Mm-hmm.
So I would do like you could just try and use some of the same notes. So you've got, your 5th fret, right? Your D,
Uh-huh.
and then the B flat. So like, let me try and.
Are you on your 5th fret on your 2nd string? Or your this?
Yeah, sorry, I have a 5 string. That'll make it
You're
more
good.
confusing, right?
That's awesome.
So I have an extra string. So just ignore this bottom string. Just pretend like I have 4 strings. So
Gotcha.
like, so you were doing like a. I can't remember the groove now, but it was like a kind of thing, right? So you could just do like a. I don't know, just like sliding into things and try and keep don't even feel like you have to like add any more notes. Just mess around with keeping the same notes, but like putting an extra one somewhere, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I like that D where you slid up to F there. Da 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 da.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, like a little. So June, that's just going up to your F, which is on. I don't have a guitar in front of me. Kaya, what fret is the F
That'd
on?
be your 3rd fret on your D string.
Third
If I'm
fret.
playing on my E string,
Are you doing your bass line on your E string?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
play it for me how you play it.
I don't know how I play it. I just played it.
You do know how to play it. We heard you.
I don't know how I did it. Wait.
Okay, I see. We're doing all in one string. Okay.
Just until just to get comfortable with it until I can get like fancier where I'm putting, because I also don't know about like keys and whatever. So much.
Right.
Tell me what to play.
So my first recommendation is to get you to string cross. You're not all on this one string, because if you start playing like in the shape and you keep your hand like in one spot, then you have more flexibility.
Yeah, the shape. I was asking about that, and I felt like I was speaking Chinese, and I was like, I don't know how to say this differently. Thank you.
I'll know all about this. Electric bass and electric guitar, we have these nice shapes, and so once you know the shapes, you're good to go.
Okay.
So I mean, I could actually email you some stuff if you wanted, like if you wanted to get into like the really theory stuff, I could email you some stuff for sure. But just to get you going on that bass line, I would say move. So you're playing the D. You're playing it right there.
I'm playing it on the 10th fret on the E string.
I would move it and play it on the 5th fret of your A string.
Okay.
Yeah, and start there.
Okay.
And that would give you the space to go up to that F, which is on the 3rd fret of the string above it. You wanted to add that little flavor note that we did.
Okay.
So I would start and do the D there, and then your B flat is the 1st fret of your A string, your 2nd string.
Hey Kaya, can you show us, like, put your bass up so we can see it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, 5th fret of your A string,
Okay.
D, and then 1st fret of that same string.
Okay.
And then your 1st fret on your first string, your E string, that's the F. And then your 3rd fret. So I would start, right? If you're in there versus being all on this one string, then you're kind of more, you don't have to move as much, but you can add in more notes.
Where's my C in relation to all of this?
Your C would be your 3rd fret on your A string.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm basically having you move a bunch of your notes to your A string now instead of E string.
I understand that.
This is a big bass hack for anybody watching this. Sometimes a bass part will simply come down to figuring out how to refinger it, like figuring out where the same note is elsewhere on the instrument, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So that you can play it in a way that's easier.
Yeah, June, if you were to play it that way, the whole song where you're sliding your hand up and down the entire neck, you're going to get so tired, right?
Yeah.
And you'll feel it in your shoulder too. So if all you have to do is move your hand up and down on the neck, it's way easier. And it's just the same thing, just memorizing the shape, the pattern that you're going to play. And that does, like what Kaya said, gives you those easier access to those passing notes, which is really cool. Can you show that passing note thing again, Kaya, that you were doing?
If this is your D, then this is your D sharp and your F, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So you were just going.
Well, no, not D. Well, yeah, D sharp and then your E.
E. Just skipped a whole letter there. No big
That's
deal.
okay.
It's
And then your F.
Ease.
Yeah.
Nobody's E's. Nobody.
No
Carry
one
on.
plays an E.
Okay, show that passing note. I thought I had it, but I don't.
Yeah, so it'd be like, that's the D. That's your basic progression, right? I can't remember what groove you guys are even doing.
That was it. That was basically it.
Yeah, so I would just get that shape down and then just start adding in like,
Where was that F?
and
Where
just
did that
add.
F live that you just played?
What was that?
That F. Where
Yeah,
did you...
that was just an F. That's the first fret of the E string.
But you played it on your D string, right?
Yeah, you played it somewhere else.
Bum bum bum. When you do that cool little riff after. Yeah.
When I do that, I'm doing a slide into the D, which is the 5th fret, right?
Yep.
And then I do that 3rd fret, which is on the D string. So that's your 3rd string up.
3rd fret?
Yep, 3rd fret.
That's crazy. That did not look like what your hand did.
It's weird on Zoom. I'm like mirrored too.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks normal for us.
So yeah, if I were to just like,
Remember their first strings.
see if you just start with that, I didn't add in any extra notes. That was all of the notes that are already in there. But I was just working on adding some passing tones and adding some like slides, and even that much can do so much, like conveying your personality through it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, I'll play with it. That's cool.
Yeah, that slide in is rad. I like that a lot. You know, and you're basically, June, starting on your C, sliding up to your D. And so, like, you're not playing any extra notes, like C, D, D, B. And then you do, just kind of do that same pattern, your 3 to 5 on that other string. And then slide down to your B flat. Yeah, it's a great song. I think you guys have a great groove. And then are you doing a different feel or anything different for the other parts, or?
Yeah, where was that piece of paper, babe? So the chorus, where our chord progressions are D, A, C, D. So we're switching it up a little bit.
D, A,
Do
C.
you have it? Oh, Hillary's pulling it up again. D, A, C, D is the chorus.
And how have you been playing that on
Just
your
the same way.
Same way.
It hasn't. We just haven't spent enough time with it to mix it up yet.
Yeah.
We just nailed this down toward the end of our practice this last weekend. So.
Is it the same timing, like change for those?
Yeah, our timing doesn't change, does it? Hillary's getting it queued up right now so you can hear it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Dope. I think your song's already sounding great. I mean,
I really dig it. It's got a great pocket already.
It was the second one.
And June, so those couple little notes, those couple slides are in the minor pentatonic, which Aaron Perry talked about, I think, 2 lessons ago. Yeah. So it's just memorizing that pattern, and luckily your song, those notes work in that pattern.
Cool. Okay. So Hillary's going to share. So this is what we got worked out for our verse right now.
What was it? It's D, A, C, D. Right? That's what the pattern was, yeah. So you have to call, but when you're not picking up, that's what a warning, then ignore all the signs. I didn't understand, now we're bad at solving this. With someone else's friend, waiting in the coffee line.
So yeah, I'd like to figure out something that just mixes it up a little bit more, because it's very much a similar vibe, which isn't a bad thing, but I would like to figure out a way to mix it up a little bit, and I know that's not entirely on the bass, so part of that is like me figuring out a way to bring something a little different, and then everybody else like working on it. So
yeah, that's the beauty of songwriting, is that it's it's a messy process, and it's gonna be this weird flow where people are gonna come with different things at different times, and it'll evolve. Everything will influence each other. Trying to think.
You could try eighth notes there, like one and boom 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 boom. Just so you're not doing just the one done.
Yeah.
But your feel and your groove is there, June. Like
Yeah.
you kind of like how I don't even know how to explain it, but they call it kind of like dragging the beat, like where the drum beat's kind of here, but the bass is just slightly behind the beat, and it creates this really cool like I don't. It's almost reggae-esque, but
It is.
yeah.
It's reggae-esque. That's totally the vibe
song-
I'm getting from the song.
Our
You really
song
do
is
have a great
angry
pocket.
reggae punk.
There you go.
We're yelling at you. You just don't know it because it feels good.
Because it feels good, yeah. Hey, Kaya, were you gonna say something earlier? I think I don't know.
I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I know. That's what's hard on Zoom. I'm like, I know you want to say something. But yeah, June, I would just try adding like eighth notes there instead.
Okay.
So drives. Is that the verse or the chorus?
That was the verse.
The verse, yeah. So either or. In one space, do the kind of spacier, more bass line, and then the other space, try adding a little bit more intensity to it or drive.
Okay.
But then I would say too, play your bass line, play your notes where Kaya just taught them to you instead of on the low E.
Yeah,
Your D would
definitely.
be on your 5th fret on your A. And
Hillary
then you
wrote the
can
tabs
go
already.
open there, or you can play your 8th fret on your E, so E5. Basalship is what Hillary calls it. Basalship. I mean, I don't know, Kaya, if you have recommendations of where to play the notes there for that other section. It was D, A, C, D, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're actually set up really well to just be on that same D, the 5th fret of your A string. And then the A is actually just right below it. It's the same fret, just on the string below it. And then the C is on your A string 3rd fret.
Below it, above it. God, I hate the bass language. I was like, below it? That's not it.
I know, we all do it different too, because they say your top string, but it's like...
It was like your bottom string, and I was like, that's this one, based on science. Okay.
Based on science. Yeah,
and
so
then my C is just this one again, the 3rd fret, 2nd string.
Yeah, that chorus progression is like a nice little box, basically. If your D and the A all right together. Okay. I liked what Talia was saying though. That touches on like a song development concept for bass. It's really great. Like leaving the verses kind of spacier and like, you know, wider and playing less, and then in the chorus locking in something a little busier.
Yeah, I like that.
Develops it. So like 8th notes would be really good, or yeah, something.
Okay, I like that. Sweet.
And I mean, sometimes too, like my first verse, my bass line's gonna be a little bit less and more sparse. And then each verse, like there might be more, you know, bass notes added or more parts added. And then the end, like you're doing a crescendo, so you might be going even crazier. I mean, it's kind of all things to think about. Yeah. So Kaya, I have a question. So when you're wanting to develop your own sound, but on someone else's song, like what's some tips that you have for that? And then if you want to show your face again because you'll be talking.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question, and that's a really good question for bass players too. Since, like I said, we're like bass players are the most giving in the band. Like we really have such a giving role. So for me, I guess it just comes down to really serving the music. And so if somebody sends me a song, I really just try to listen to it and determine what the vibe is and like what the emotion's asking for, like what the song needs, you know, and try and just deliver that, I guess, the best that I can with my tools, my, you know, what I have to do. Yeah, I don't know. I want this meeting to be whatever you guys need it to be. I'm happy to like go over all kinds of like scales or fingerings, but really I just want to like implore you guys for artistically expressing yourselves, because it's a hard thing to do and it's an uphill battle every day. And like you're gonna have these song ideas and you're just starting and you have to get them out and you just have to keep working at it. And it's frustrating work, but it's really important.
Yeah, like Shell just said, that is really beautiful. The bass is a giving role. And it is. The bass is the foundation of the whole groove, the whole vibe, the music, the emotion. And you and your favorite teammate, your quarterback, your drummer, right? Like your drummer is your co-person. And a lot of times, if you're not listening to one another, it's just not going to be good. But if you are locked in, listening to each other's beats, listening to each other's like souls through their playing, it can be a magical thing. Yeah, Kai, if you want to show us like a couple of tricks or a couple of your favorite little bass tricks or bass hacks or scales, or that'd be rad if anything comes to mind.
Well, the age-old bass, a lot of bass parts are rooted in just the minor pentatonic scale, what Talia already said. So if you can learn this pattern and then learn it in all 12 keys, which sounds really music theory now, but it's super easy. It's just root, it's whatever key you're in. That's what I mean when I say root. So if we're in the key of E, then the root would be E. And then see, I don't want to get super into theory because I don't know how much everybody knows. And I don't want to like...
Go with your gut. Just trust your gut and go.
Trust your gut. And if you want, so we can see your bass a little better too when you're talking about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
No sorries at Rock Camp. You rock.
All right, let's see. So if we're in E, I'll teach you an E minor pentatonic scale. Just play your open E string, right? And then you're gonna play your 3rd fret on the E string. And then you're gonna play your open A string. And then you're gonna play your B, which is the 2nd fret. And then you're gonna play your open D string. And then your E again, which is the 2nd fret on your D string. So I'll play it really fast. That's just a minor pentatonic in E minor. And so many bass parts are rooted in that minor pentatonic sound, just depending on what chord you're on. So like if I were on...
ask,
yeah.
what is pentatonic? Pentatonic, what? I don't even know. What does that mean? I know what a scale is, I know what a minor is, but what's the middle word?
Yeah, pentatonic scale means there are 5 notes in the scale. That's why. Yeah, and so it's just basically, it's actually a simplification of, if you know like the minor scale already, it's a simplification of that.
I knew what a minor scale was. Don't know what it is, how to do it, but I know what it is.
That actually helps though on the quest of pentatonics, because pentatonics is just the minor scale and you actually take notes out.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Carry on.
Yeah, Kaya, do you want to show maybe in G, and then so we can explain that if you play this same pattern and no matter where you start it, it's the pentatonic scale. So memorizing the pattern or the space in between your fingers when you play it helped me a lot when I was learning the pentatonic scale.
Yep, yeah, so you get a lot into those like the box shapes, that kind of thing. So that's actually a good little box shape, a minor pentatonic shape that I could teach you guys right now. So like if we start on G, like Talia just said, and you have you're fretting the 3rd fret on your E string, which is the G, you're gonna get that minor 3rd, which is the B flat. So you're gonna do that with your pinky on the 6th fret.
Of your what string?
Of the same string on your E string. And then you're gonna go to your 3rd fret on your A string, and you're gonna make like a box now. And so you're gonna go to the D, just 2 frets above. So you get this like, and then you're just gonna move up 1 more string and you get the F, the same fret, that 3rd fret, and then the 5th fret again with your pinky. So you get this like, it's like a perfect box. You just have to make sure to get that minor 3rd on the way up.
Yeah, so that minor third is the only time in your pentatonic scale that you're going up for 3 full frets, right? You're going up, and the rest you're just going up 2 frets. So it would be 3 5 3 5. Yeah,
So
June.
it's 3 5 or
3
6?
6. 3
3
6 on your
6
first.
3 5 3.
Yep. Yep. A 3
3
5 3
6
5.
3 5 5.
3.
So it's 3 5 3 5.
Oh, 3 6
Mm-hmm.
3 6 and then
3
3 5
5 3. Jesus. 3 Jesus 5.
Praise Jesus 5.
Praise Jesus.
And even if you wanted to make it even spicier, it could be 3 5 on your high G string as well on that. So you can go 3 6 3 5 3 5 3 5. If you wanted to play all the notes, then it's still a pentatonic because they're playing some of the same notes you just played. But so Kaya, if June wanted to play that in A, where does it start? Or let's ask June.
Wait.
June, if you want to play it in A, where does
Okay.
it start?
She's got this.
I have a feeling that okay, let's just go with it. So if you would start it, if I was starting it on the E string, I would start with A, and then it would be A, and then up 3. I don't know what that is.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
5th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret.
Boom. Boom.
She has a master's degree now.
Yeah. Boom. Killing it. All right. What about if you were gonna do it in B? Where would you start, June?
Where would I start? Okay, this is my A string, so I could start my 2nd fret on my A string.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Look at that.
And then
it
where?
would be 2 7
Five.
5 2 5 2 4 2 4.
Boom.
Nailed it.
And so if you wanted to play it and start on B on your low E string, where would you start?
A sharp, B. 7th fret E string,
And then where?
and then 1 2 here,
Okay.
there,
And then where?
and then 7th fret, and then 9th fret, and then so 10th fret, 7th fret, 10th fret, and then 7th, 9th, 7th, 9th. Right?
So, June, do you realize that you literally could play the pentatonic scale in every single key now?
Yep.
Nailed it.
Right? Nailed it. Like, seriously, it's such a huge breakthrough for people to realize that, yeah, there's theory behind this, there's reasons why, but really just learning those patterns and hearing it. Kaya, do you have anything else to add on, the pentatonic or any?
That's a cool sound just in itself. I want to
Yeah.
write a whole bass line that's just the pentatonic scale starting on A.
Welcome to blues and funk music, Welcome to rock and roll. It is pretty much all pentatonic.
Hillary's just laughing.
No, I love it so much. That's where the magic's gonna come from. Is you playing these shapes and then hearing something in it. Because we can sit and we can do all day, but the magic comes when you think of something like, and you start doing something with it. I don't know,
You gotta fiddle until you find it.
Like the chain
Yeah,
bass
fiddle
line.
till you find it.
One string.
That chain bass line, you're right. She's right.
I was just saying the bass line for the chain, especially when you get to, that kind of bass solo part. The fact I didn't really ever think about like that you could just play that on your E string, and it's just about moving your hands up or down, the neck at certain times till you get that sound, and that's such an iconic thing. And I don't know what scale that's in or whatever, but the fact you can play it on one string just blew my mind. So
The whole thing is just A minor. We're talking about A minor pentatonic right now. It's literally that whole thing. It's just A minor pentatonic.
that's cool. Yeah, so you could listen to the chain, and if you played the A minor pentatonic, you started on A, you could just jam along to that song pretty much, and it would sound good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You should try that.
Mm-hmm.
Kaya, can you talk a little bit about the passing notes in the pentatonic scale? Like some of them that work really cool. If you just add a little flavor. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you go, yeah, between your 4 and your 5 and places like that.
Make it a blues scale instead of a pentatonic scale. there's only one difference between a pentatonic scale and a blues scale, and it's one little passing tone. They call it the sharp 4 or the flat 5. It sounds all theory nerdy. But if we were to take the same pentatonic shape that I just taught you, we can just learn the blues scale really fast. Let's do it in G minor to start again. So if we start on that 3rd fret, right, and we played that's a regular pentatonic. So now to make it a blues scale, you just go.
Wait, what did you just do?
I put a little passing note in between the C and the D, which is your 3rd and 5th fret on your 2nd string. You play that fret that's in between them on the way up.
Okay, so you just walk your fingers up.
Yep.
You just go 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Can you do it on the next line down too?
Yeah. Chromatics make things so much tastier. They kind of seem scary, like if you're playing a song and you get into some chromatic stuff and it sounds kind of out.
Can you explain what chromatic is versus pentatonic? Like, what's a chromatic scale?
Yeah, chromatic, what I mean by chromatic is just like when you're moving in half steps, like moving one fret at a time, if that makes sense.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Yeah, and you said tasty. That's what I want. I want my song to be tasty. I want my bass line to be tasty. That's what I'm looking for.
Add those chromatics.
Okay,
those
that's so good to know.
Add the
I'm gonna play with
pentatonic.
this.
Yeah, I want it. So your chords they were D, B flat, F, C. So if you were just to play D flat or D minor pentatonic stuff, that is where all the goodness will be for you in the verses. So that would be like, that'd be your D and F, all that good stuff. And then you could even make it a D blues scale and get that little passing note. Yeah.
Connection.
Sorry, Kya did it and then I did it and it sounded the same and I was like,
Yeah. That's beautiful, June. I love that.
that's awesome.
One thing I want to say too about those passing notes or the blues notes, they sound great if you use them in passing. But if you were to like go there and hang there, it's gonna create some tension that you may or may not want. You know, like
You're
it's
just
kind
saying
of
hi on your way to the store.
What was that?
You're just walking to the store and you're like, hey neighbor, and you just like keep on going. It's just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
passing out.
Boom. Right? Just a little wave. Hello, flat 4th. No, flat 5th. I'm actually learning too, Kya, because a lot of my musicality came from being self-taught and learning on the internet. Like when I was little, I would look up guitar tabs and things like that. So to actually like, it's not that hard if you do learn it. And if someone were to say, well, it's a flat 4th, if you learn where your 4ths and your 5ths are, which is pentatonic notes, well, then yeah, if I say flat 4th, what do you think it means? Anyone? June, what do you think it means?
So I was thinking about this because you said it and I was like, that would be the flat note in between my 3rd and 5th fret, making it the 4th, but I don't know if that's true.
Well, so a flat 4th would mean you were really close, would be the note between like your 3rd, but it might, depending where you are, what key you're in, right, Kya? I don't know. I mean, I think you had the right concept. So if someone says it's a flat something, it's going to be lower. If someone says it's a sharp, it's going to be higher up from it. But yeah, I think it's great. I think music theory can be overwhelming, but I think it's awesome. And if you feel like you have a plateau, that is the best place to go to next, you know?
Yeah.
So, cool.
Yeah, so like for you, June, like when you're working on that chord progression, or if you have a chord progression that you're kind of fiddling with and you want to work on expanding or whatever, learning the shapes, like working on your box shapes for each individual chord will help so much. So
and
like
strengthen my fingers to like get there.
Yeah, so this is gonna we're gonna get real like theory nerdy now, but see the chords to your song were it's D minor, right? To B flat.
It is.
And you could try and play a scale for every single chord. Like play the major scale or the minor scale, depending on which. So like play the D minor scale and then you play your B flat scale and then your F scale. We're getting real theory now, but it all comes down to like, if you learn these little shapes that we're talking about, all these like really scary sounding shapes on the bass, then it's not scary at all.
Do you have, Kaya, do you mind showing us a major pentatonic too? Just
Yeah, so that's a really good point. So if we're talking like the difference between major and minor, it really comes down to like the third note in the chord being what makes it major or minor. So if we're talking E major versus E minor, right? E major has this G sharp, and then an E minor has a regular G. It's the third that's different in determining the quality of the chord and like defining the sound of it. So as a bass player, you can your power a lot can be like leaning into the chord tones of whatever chord you're playing on. So like if I'm playing a D minor chord, like, and I want to add a little flavor, like we talked about, play the F. So yeah, going back to major and minor pentatonic stuff.
Can you play, so we started with the G minor scale. Can you play the G major so I can hear the difference?
Yeah, just play a G major scale.
Yeah, the G major pentatonic.
Okay, yeah, so G major pentatonic is 1, 3. Yeah, they have a different structure a little bit. A G major pentatonic, you're gonna start on your G, and then you're gonna go up to your A, which is 2 frets above it, and then up to your B. So it sounds like a major scale at first. It's like 1, 2, 3. And then you're gonna go D, which is your 5th fret on your A string. And then E, which you can play as your 7th fret on your A string or your 2nd fret on your D string.
So it's like 3, 5, 3, 5, 7.
Yeah. It's a little bit different. It comes down to which notes from the scale are being extracted. This is where it gets like super theory-y.
So it's not as much of a shape as the minor pentatonic is.
Yeah, major, it just depends on like you're just shooting to get the chord tones.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what chord you're talking on. But like if we're talking in E, right? Or G, since we're in G. Yeah, so you have your 1, flat 3. I'm thinking like the minor pentatonic comes from the minor scale, right? So if I played the whole minor scale, it would be. And so when we do the minor pentatonic, we're just taking some of the notes out and we're just going. Major pentatonic's the same way. It's like if you played the major scale and just took some of the notes out, then it's just.
Isn't Kaya the bass line for that song "My Girl"? Isn't that just a major pentatonic? Wait, do you know the song "My Girl"? It's like by the Temptations.
That's a great bass line. It's
That's the one,
right? Yeah, and then it's just a scale.
iconic bass line.
Yeah.
Is that a minor pentatonic or major? I don't remember.
I mean.
Or maybe it's not. I thought for some reason it was a major pentatonic scale.
It pretty much is. It's really simple. That song's another really great example of a bass part just being real simple. But yeah, if you want to learn that right now,
let's do it.
Bass line.
Well, we are almost out of time. But
what time is it?
6:44.
Well, let's end with this.
Let's end with My Girl. Yeah. Will you write the notes down? Oh, we have them on the tips. Yeah.
So it's you start on your G, which is your 5th fret on your D string. And then you're going to have your C, which is your 3rd fret on your A string. So it's like. That's where you get that sound.
Okay.
And then when it goes into the verses, it goes to the F. those too. Yeah, I'm watching you. Watching you do it.
Yeah, I know the notes. I just don't know the order.
You nailed it.
I nailed it. Milan, how are you doing? Is Shell there? It's been like
She's crushing it.
rock camp June bass lesson.
Well, and this is like one of the ones where it is, like Kai was saying, only the two notes, but it's exactly how you play those two notes. It's like the bum 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 bum. Think like you're rowing a boat or something.
Yes.
Oh, I can play this song on a saxophone or
Yeah, Motown is just rowing a boat all day.
It is rowing a boat all day. Hillary, I think you're thinking of the da 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 da.
Yeah, and I guess the bass doesn't really play that part. That's more the guitar, right?
But that is major, like you know.
Okay.
So you did have the right inclination, like it is
That's
a
good.
major song. But yeah, but a lot of those notes are in both scales, which is why it's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know we got into this kind of nerdy tangent with all these scales and whatever, but it really does come down to like what you feel and what you hear. Like that's what I'm really here to say. That's what I'm really here to preach is just experiment and be patient with yourself.
Yeah, I love it. Kaya, I think it's like your representation, especially in the jazz scene, is so important. You know, and there are female jazz players, but just like we know in most of music, it's very heavily male dominated. So I just appreciate your voice and your presence and you know, taking this traditional music and making it your own and pushing it and keep doing it, like keep inspiring us. And I don't think it's nerdy at all. I think when people hit plateaus with music, that music theory, at least for me, has been the thing that gets me out of the rut. It keeps me inspired to keep learning, and it is just another form of language, of speaking. Is there anything that you want to send us off with before we say goodbye for the night? Any
I
words
just
of
want everyone
advice?
to know that you guys are welcome to reach out to me, like personally, outside of the Zoom call if you have specific questions. I'm happy to share like some super nerdy PDFs of actual scale stuff so you can visually see all that stuff we talked about that might have just been number mumbo jumbo.
No, I think it's great.
Yeah, so I'm here. If anyone wants to reach out to me personally on social media or my email, yeah, and
Do you have any upcoming streams or any upcoming excellence concerts or anything like that?
do I have anything coming up?
Or can we follow you on social media? Is that the best place to stay in touch?
Yeah, please follow me on social media if you don't already. I'm with most of you already, but Kya Karine on Facebook, Instagram, Bass Princess Official. I'm in some revamping stages myself. That's why this is so fun actually, you guys, for me to like be on the Zoom call right now. I'm actually in my grandma's cabin right now, like completely by myself, holed up, trying to work on writing some music. So like, I'm totally in that headspace right now where I'm like sitting at my piano with this same chord progression that I've been hearing for a week, just like playing it over and over and over again, like trying to figure out, you know, I'm right there with you guys. So
Awesome. I love it. Well, keep creating, and definitely thank you so much for being involved with Rock Camp, and we look forward to working with you again. And
thank you guys for coming. I love what you're doing. Everyone keep at it. This is beautiful.
Thank
Awesome,
you.
Kaya. Thank you
Kaya.
so much.
Thank you so much,
So
Kaya.
awesome.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
See
And
y'all
we'll see
next
you
week.
next time.
Bye.